Hello and welcome to the class. Dear students, today I am going to discuss with you a chapter from your NCERT textbook Tea from Assam. This is the third part of the chapter Glimpses of India. The Glimpses of India chapter tries to give a brief exposure of different parts of our India, and it tries to make our students know about the diversity that our great Indian culture has. Okay, so in that lineup, today we are here to discuss about a northeastern part of our country. It is famously known as Assam. When we talk about Assam, what comes to your mind? Definitely, it is the tea. You might have heard about tea plantations. You might have heard about the tea estates and the tea crops that which are being grown over there, right? So obviously these things are very common, right? Because Assam is the largest producer of tea in India and in Asia as well. Okay, clear? But here we are going to know more about Assam actually. Actually it is a traveler. Traveler means means when someone travels to a particular area and then he notes down what he saw, what he found, what he encountered, how he felt, and all those things. Such kind of writings are called traveler. So it's a piece of traveler that we are having here, right? And you will find it very interesting since here you find two young characters like you people, like the students of class 10th, right? You can find two young characters depicted in this particular story, like Pranjol, a young boy who comes from Moriani, Assam. Mariani is a very small place. It's a subdivisional place, actually subdivision in the Jorhat district of Assam. Okay, beautiful place actually. And Razbir, who comes from Delhi, right? And they are both studying in the same school in Delhi, right? They are classmates in Delhi, and now the vacation time has come, and during vacation what happens? You sometimes invite your friends to your home. Sometimes you are being invited to your friend's home, and you make a lot of fun together. And in this way, you spend and make a lot of fun and have a lot of joy and happiness with your friends and family. Like, so this is the time for summer vacation, and Pranjol has invited his friend uh, Rajveer, who hails from a different part of the country and who has never been to this northeastern part of the country. That means he has never visited Assam, right? So this is what the story tells us. When we go through this particular chapter, there in the beginning means their journey starts from Delhi, and they're coming by a rail. I mean by train they're coming, and when you are making a train journey, one thing is very common. The very common sounds that you hear in every platform say that you garam chai, chai garam chai, chai garam. Okay, means you might you can see vendors selling out garam chai in small kettles, right? And that's a very when it comes to tea is a very very close part of our life as far as the Indians are concerned. Okay, our day starts with a cup of tea, and evening our day ends with a cup of tea as well, right? But people like me who love to consume a lot many cups of tea in a day, right? I think it means a lot, right? So now, my dear children, here we are going to know more about it. How Razbir is going to feel, how he would feel when he reaches to this beautiful state of the country. Okay, to this one of the remotest part of the country. Okay, we can't call it remotest now. Actually, now it has very good connectivity to almost all parts of the world, almost all parts of the country. Okay, right now. So let us see here what happens actually when their journey begins. They orders 2 cups of tea, and then they start chatting with each other because they have 2 or 3 days of journeys to cover up, right? It's about 2,300 or 2,500 some kilometers to be covered in 2 or 3 days of time, right? So for that you need to spend time in various ways. And Pranjal has got a very good technique. Pranjal has brought with him detective story books to read during the journey, so that he can spend his all time in that book. Okay, so here a beautiful uh, phrase has been mentioned here. The train pulled out of the station. Pranjal buried his nose in his detective book again. It shows that it means he didn't put his nose in the book. It shows that he got deeply involved while reading that particular book. He was so much involved that I think if there would be a sound, that if something happens to the next passenger who is sitting beside him also, he won't get to know anything about it. Okay, is it clear? So that's why it is written here. That means he had buried his nose in the detective book. Rajbir in the other hand, okay, Rajbir in the other hand, on the other hand, he also likes to read detective stories, but this time he has stopped reading this particular one. Why? There is a reason behind it when you go through this one. Because for the first time ever in his life, he is visiting the most beautiful state of India, Assam. So how can he miss those beautiful landscapes? How can he miss those beautiful sceneries that comes on his way of journey? Okay, so that's why he's busy watching outside through the window, and he's enjoying the natural scenery, enjoying the natural beauty. Okay, he could see the lush green mountains, he could see the lush green fields covered with green grass everywhere. Okay, or the cattle grazing over the green grass, or the people working in the green fields. So everything looks green to him, and he finds peace and joy in that. Whereas it's very common thing for Pranjal, because he is born and brought up there. Okay, so he's very much excited. Rajbir is very much excited. Okay, more excited than Pranjal, because for Pranjal it's a very common thing. He has spent his whole time in Assam. It's very usual things for him. He has seen every day, he can see that means there are greenery around him. Okay, so that's why it's very common thing. So that's why he doesn't get excited, or he doesn't show his excitement here, right? Now, what happens, as the train enters Assam's territory, that he could see the magnificent view, right? He could see the dense wooded hills, a sea of tea bushes stretched as far as the eye could see. Means that shows that means vast land of area had been cultivated with the tea plantations. Okay, means tea plantations could be seen over a large piece of land, as much as far as your eye could see, right? So that is the meaning of this particular phrase. Now let's move on to the next particular sentences and try to find out what more is there actually. And the conversation goes on. Okay, as it's going to be a long journey. They have, I think, they are half of the way, right? They have one more day to cover, I think so, right? So there is excitement in Rajbeen's mind actually. He's getting more and more excited when he saw the lush green fields outside the train, right? Now here a discussion goes on, and during this particular discussion, Rajbir, he shares some beautiful facts about the tea plantations with Pranjal, which Pranjal had no idea about. Although Pranjal should have more ideas about it, Pranjal should have more information regarding the tea plantations. But घर का जो घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, there is a phrase in Hindi, okay, something which is very common. You don't appreciate its value, or you don't understand its value, you underrate it all the time. You always underrate it. हमेशा हम उसकी कम आंका करते हैं. In the same way, the lush green fields, how much important these lush green fields are. I think Pranjal can't at all understand it. Only Rajbir, who comes from a major city, he comes from a bigger city like Delhi, he can well understand how beautiful these places are and how important these lush green fields are actually for the sustainable development of our country. Now let us see what happens. Here, he reveals two beautiful facts over here, right? He says that, here Rasbir tells what his friends Pranjol, that there are two legends. Okay, there are two legends about the tea plantations, right? Means from where and how the tea actually came into existence, and who grew the tea first, in which country it was used first, or who discovered the tea. Means there are many myths about it. Okay, no one is certain about it, no one is clear about it, there are many things are unclear. Okay, so but thanks to Rasbir, that he has done some sorts of homework, means he has read a lot, he has collected a lot more informations about tea plantations, and he is now updating. Okay, he is now updating his friend who comes from Assam. Okay, right? Now, what is the first legend? Legend means stories. Okay, stories that may be true, may be false. We can't say that one. Okay, these are the legends, are the story usually which is very common among the public. Right, there is a Chinese legend that says that, there lived a king in China who used to boil the water every morning, and he would drink it. And when he would boil, he would ask his servants to pluck few herbal leaves over there and add it to that, so that he would get nutrients from that, or he would get freshness out of that. But one day, all of a sudden, what happens, twigs of some other plants had been added there, knowingly or unknowingly, it's not clear, right? Maybe knowingly someone had put the twigs of a different plant, okay, or unknowingly it had been dropped over there in the that boiled water. And what happens to the drink, that particular drink got a completely different kinds of delicious flavor. Okay, and that brought a different level of energy to the king. It brought a different kind of excitement in the mind of that particular king. He felt extremely happy after that. Okay, and then he asked to make it a routine for him, so that he would get a cup of tea, okay, or he would get a cup of boiled water by using that particular twigs. Okay, so in this way, the this tea came into existence. So many of the people, according to this particular legend, people believe that uh, the tea has been discovered by the Chinese people. Okay, it has been discovered by the Chinese people, and later on, when the Britishers came to China, they found this to be delicious one. They found this to be a delicious brew or beverage. They took it to Europe and they started selling out, and people appreciated that. Oh, it has a beautiful taste. It's really delicious, and it got it covered a big market over there, right? And suddenly, finding it very profitable, what they started, they started growing it in their colonies. And India being a colony, India was a very safe colony for the Britishers. India being a colony, they brought this plantation to India, and they found this Assam, Darjeeling, and these states to be suitable, because these are all hilly areas. They get a lot of rain, right? Throughout the year, they get the rainfall. Okay, and the weather is very mild over there. It's not extremely hot or not extremely cold. They found the climate to be very soothing, very favorable for growing tea plants. So they started growing tea plantations, right? So in this way, means tea came to India, or tea came to Assam through the Britishers from China. Okay, it didn't come directly through the Himalaya, it didn't come through the Tibet, it didn't come through the Nepal, we can say, or Bhutan also, we can say. It came through the Europe. First it was taken to the Europe by the Britishers, and the Britishers finally they brought it India, okay, for their own profit. But thanks to Britishers that it was brought here, and our peoples are getting actually employment over there. Millions of people are earning lots of money from that, you know uh, tea plantations. There are millions of workers who are employed in the tea factories, right? So it's really a beautiful one. Now, one more legend says that, what is the other legends, tell me another. Scopt Pranjal means, scopt means, Pranjal was very much excited. Actually, he had never heard that actually how tea came into existence. And for the first time, his friend, who is a non-Assamese, or who is not from, who doesn't hail from Assam, he has all those ideas. okay, or he has learned about it. So he got excited and he asked his friend, "What's the other? Tell me quickly." So his friend says that the other one is an Indian legend, and the Indian legend is bit different. Okay, there seems to be mystic one, unbelievable one, right? It seems to be mystic one. How in what sense it is mystic? Just let me tell you that there lived a Buddhist ascetic. Ascetic means a monk, a Buddhist monk was there. His name was also mentioned here, Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma was the Buddhist monk, and he used to meditate for the whole day. But during the meditation, he would feel sleepy and his eyes would get closed automatically, and that is what is not good, right? He didn't want to feel sleepy, means because if you feel sleepy and if you fall asleep, that means your meditation has no value, right? You have broken the law and your meditation has no value at all. So he got angry and he cut up his leads and removed it. Okay, so this seems to be unbelievable, but still, this is one kind of, what do you say, this is one kind of legend. Okay, we may believe it, we may not believe it, it's up to us. Okay, so this seems to be unbelievable for me as well, right? So what he did, actually, he cut off his eyelids, and what happened after that, from his eyelids, 10 tea plants grew up. Okay, 10 tea plants grew up, and he then put it and he made a drink of that. Okay, he put it in the water, he boiled it, he made a drink of that, and after drinking that particular drink, after taking that particular drink, he felt energetic and freshness came to his mind, and he didn't fall asleep again. Okay, that's how you feel when you are tired. Suppose you are having your examinations day after tomorrow. Okay, maybe tomorrow your exams is there and you have not prepared it properly till now. Then what can be done? You have to work late night, my dear children. And many a times what happens, when you are going to read for late night, what happens? Means your eyes won't support you, means they would automatically fall sleepy, right? The eyelids would be getting closed automatically. But by this time, if you get a warm cup of tea, you know again you will feel energetic, your sleep will be over and you will feel energetic, and again you can work again for 1 hour or 2 hours, you can read freely. So this happens actually. Okay, so this is the beauty of this particular beverage or this particular brew, right? Now, so these are the two legends that was discussed by Pranjal, or discussed with Pranjal by Rajvi. Now what happens, finally their journey is over and they were about to land, they were about to got down at Moriani Junction. Moriani Junction is a small place in the Jorhat district. Jorhat district is a district in the Upper Assam actually, right? It is a district in the Upper Assam, and Mariani is a small place, but it has a, the train station is really very crowded, because what happens, because many people they land at this particular place and then they travel to various tea estates actually, right? So from many perspective, this Mariani Junction is very crucial for the people of that particular area. And these two people, they got down there, and when they landed there, there were the families of Pranjal to receive these two fellow. Okay, this is what we can see. That means how hospitable the people of Northeast are. They are really very helpful. They're really very good. They're really very caring, and that's why Pranjal's father had come here. Okay, so Pranjal's father received Pranjal as well as Rasbi. Then he took them in a car to the tea estates. On the way to the tea estate, what happens, when they were going to the tea estates, they had to travel by the gravel road. The road was not pakka, it was a kacha road, right? And moreover, when they reached the tea estates, right, uh, then they found that the tea pluckers were plucking the tea leaves. The freshly sprouted leaves were being collected, and the tea pluckers were carrying a bamboo basket on their back. Okay, so these all things surprised Rasbi, and for the first time he means enjoyed all these beautiful things. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of this particular chapter. Okay, and I hope And when Pranjal's father got to know so much of information from, Rajbir, then he appreciated that Rajbir has done a lot of homework. Okay, so thank you. Please do like, share, and watch the video till the end, and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.